On this Labor Day. It's Labor Day.
In America, and we're
on this Labor Day, so
intentioning.
interesting. All of the labor in Israel is on strike today. Yeah. Everything from the airports to the restaurants to the everybody is on strike. The Histadrut, the Labor Party, the labor unions, everybody is on strike, and hundreds of thousands have taken to the streets. That's, I think, what we need to look to and understand on this Labor Day.
Yeah.
As we approach, today's the 64 days in our 100-day countdown. Today's 64 days left till the election.
I'll tell you something, though. Yeah. When we get to, I'm going to gear up. When we get to Elul,
which is, we're on the cusp of Elul. It's the 29th day, I think, of Av or something. Okay. I mean, we're just almost there.
Elul, I think we're getting there. Oh, tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're right on the edge. Right on the...
Well, Wednesday. Let's see, Wednesday, we're going to really start rolling. I have some interesting stuff for Elul. We're going to add that to our...
Elul, as you know,
intentioning.
Is that month right before Tishrei, the month, and some say an acronym for Anila Dodi V'Dodi, I am my beloved and my beloved is mine.
Yeah, that's right, sister.
Elul, and yes, of course, love we can say, but it's about no distractions, but also no barriers. All the barriers to holiness, to everything, are taken down in Elul. The metaphors. All other months, God is in the palace, but in Elul, God is in the field. In other words,
the Melech in the Sodeh.
Right, the Melech in the Sodeh. Everything is accessible. You don't have to work so hard. It's right there. And with our...
I have pieces on all this stuff.
I know.
When we get to Elul, man.
So good. Well, it'll be this week. But just...
We'll break them out.
We've been, in our intentions, we've been using two texts in approaching the election.
Yeah.
64 days from today. One is Jim's new book, Vigil.
I got a lot of Kadishes, I'm sorry to say.
Which we need the Kadishes from. Unfortunately, too much death. But we have also been using Mesilat Yesharim.
Good.
This wonderful book by Moshe Chaim Luzzatto that takes this wonderful portion from the Talmud, this path to becoming a saint or a pious person or a good person, the best person, a mensch that you can be. Yeah. And what are the steps that you take? The first week, we really worked hard to understand what he meant by watchfulness and just being aware, being attentive there.
And then to catch fire for what you learn.
And then the second thing is zeal.
Eager.
But the very beginning of what he talks about in zeal is what it means is, he says that human nature we are by nature inert. We are by nature
inert. I-N-E-R-T?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. We are by nature kind of procrastinators, right?
Right.
And we have good intentions maybe, but we put it off. We don't do it right away.
We sit in our complacency.
We do. So he says that the second step, once you know, is you got to do. You got to do, and you can't put it off.
Right.
Zeal to him in the beginning of his explanation is do it right away. Do it now. Do it now.
I was writing yesterday about learning in this way, what you acquire from those you acquire from.
Yeah.
And I was writing about one of my mentors, T. I won't mention his name, but you know who I'm talking about. And I was writing about how he introduced me to tools, certain kinds of tools, not kinds of tools that you build houses with. I'm not so good with those tools, but other kinds of tools, like the kind we're using right now. These kinds of tools, the tools to communicate wisdom. And T introduced me to tools. And then how did I learn from him? By watching him. He was an excellent writer, really a wonderful writer in a different style than I was familiar with. And I watched him. He had this like Southern Southern consciousness of weaving tales, telling tales with wisdom concealed in the vines in the most beautiful way. And I watched that and I listened to that. But what he taught me hands-on was only really one thing. He taught me tools, how he did that. And I wrote about that yesterday. And just something I hadn't written about before,
Well, the other thing that makes me think about is something I hear you saying all the time about writing is just write. Just write.
Yeah.
Don't wait. You have something to say? Write it down and just write. Don't worry about perfection. Don't worry about getting it right. Just write. Right? Just go to it and write. And that's a tool.
And over and over.
Yeah, and that's a tool.
But I felt really good
off.
honoring him that way.
Nice,
I'm not sure other people have done that for him. And he was a large character here, and with also large flaws. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Let me read a piece. Let's start with I read a part of a Kaddish that I had written in that book. Excuse me. I took a fragment of a Kaddish piece from the book Vigil. This called Souls on Sunday. Unfortunately, this piece is written, you can put any day on there, the day of awareness of loss. This happens to be Souls on Sunday. Honor the vessels that accompany the souls. Vessels working so hard to house souls, because our souls are flamboyant. They burn bluish green and light up from within our holy bodies, temples, bodies, palaces. Blessed be the souls as they leave the temple of body, as they make their way home to the ancestors who inhabit a faraway place, far away from Eretz Yisrael, where they once dwelled. Yeah. All right, my dear.
So on this day, we think about it's Labor Day, so of course we honor workers. Try to continue to work for a living wage in this country, to honor the workers upon whose backs all of us exist and live. Make sure that people are really appreciated for their work by having a living wage, so that people don't have to work 2 and 3 jobs to make ends meet. And we also think about today the strikes in Israel, the burial of Hirsch, who became kind of a hero for so many, living so many days in captivity, losing his arm, and just moments before he was, with so many others, to be liberated, he was murdered. His funeral, I believe, is today, as the streets are filled with hundreds of thousands of people in Israel who are showing both intention and zeal to stand up for democracy and what they believe, their values, what Israel could be, not what it is right now, but what it could be.
שור חרשים ותן כוח לנפשי שור חרשים Tziri, heal my hurts. El Ne'eman, dependable God. And send a little strength to my soul. Send strength to my soul. Thanks for joining us this morning, and tomorrow
64 days
we'll be here
countdown
tomorrow.
to the election. We'll
Yeah.
be back tomorrow morning.